Thank you very much. It's nice to see everybody. It's a beautiful day. What are you doing in here? Nice outside today. Anyway, it's very nice to see everybody, and thank you for showing up. It's very kind of you. Anyway, I'm glad that maybe this is my third time in Tennessee, I think. I remember the last time I was here, I remember going to a blues joint. You guys have the best music in the world, I guess.
Yeah.
In America, just about. So it's are we going to a blues joint today?
Not tonight, no.
Oh, okay.
Just a regular restaurant with food.
He's a steak eater. I'm not a big steak eater.
I promise they'll have fish for you.
He's gonna turn into a steak.
So Billy, let me introduce you to Hayden. Hayden, this is Billy Dee Williams.
Hey, Hayden. Hey, Hayden. Oh, nice to meet you. Thank you.
So he's going to be our sabak player with you. So Mom, you can come up close now and watch. I'm going to put the mic down and talk as loudly as I can because I can't do two things at once here. All right, so you're going to shuffle your cards up. Unlike the okay. So this is very simple. It's going to be highest card takes the deck, the trick, and the idea is the more tricks you get, then you go home with the falcon. Unless you have that magic sabak card. So let's hope that Hayden has it. You guys take your cards and you can look at them and see what we're doing. And since Hayden is our guest, we're going to allow Hayden to go first. And Hayden, make sure that you don't flash your cards at Billy or Orlando, because he might be looking over your shoulder here to try to one-up you. He kind of does that in the Star Wars universe. So, what would you like to play first? Put it here. All right, we have a King of Hearts. Billy, what are you going to play?
I think it's over for you, kid.
No lost love.
Not quite.
What's he going to do? Notice how he hit his cards after you got to look at them. He played the Queen of Clubs, so he's letting you have that first round. Excellent. Play another one, buddy. You're winning so far. The pressure is now off. Here is a Jack of Hearts. Lando, how are you going to beat a Jack of Hearts? Maybe. You can let him have it again, too. Just so you know he plays dirty. Huh? Queen of Spades. Oh, you lost that one. It's neck and neck now. One for Lando, one for you. Go ahead. Play another one, Hayden. Your mom's your cheerleader. Did you hear that? She wants you to win. Now, Jack of Clubs. Jack of Clubs. What can we do with the Jack of Clubs, Mr. Williams? Queen of Hearts. He's beating you. I don't get this. Come on. Play a high card. Play a high card. If you have the Sabbath card, don't play it. You save it to the end to go, haha. Play it. Okay, better. King of Clubs. All right. He's got to have this one, right? Got to have it. You got it. Jack of Diamonds. Perfect. There you go. Do another one, Dave. Another big one. Let's see if you do it again. Queen of Diamonds. That's a good one. That's a good one. Queen of Diamonds. Queen of Diamonds. Lando will play. It's looking good. 10 of Hearts. You're on a roll, Hayden. Come on, buddy. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Maybe you should go to Vegas tomorrow. King of Diamonds. King of Diamonds. Go, Hayden. Go, Hayden. You think you got him? 10 of Spade Clubs. You're working it. You're working it. We need that magic Sabbath card. Okay. Play the next one. Here we go. We're getting close. 10 of Diamonds. That might be... Oh, a draw. I like that. Nobody gets it. 10 of Spades, 10 of Diamonds. So I'll keep that one. How's that? Okay. Moment of truth. Jack of Spades. So you didn't have the Sabbath card. That ain't good, but let's see what Lando has, because, I mean, you know, he wants to go home with the... What the hell is that? What is that? over to Mr. Williams' pocket. No, you cheated. I know you did. Because this is, I didn't give this kid this. Go in his upper right pocket and see if there's something in his pocket, on his chest. Is there something in there? You. Look at that, that's the Sabbath card. Man. You had to see it coming that Lando was going to cheat, right? But guess what? For being such a good sport, we can't send you home with the Falcon, but Billy's going to autograph for this, and you get to go home with it. Mom, make sure you get a still photography of that. That's your big moment. Give it up for Hayden. Go this way for me down the stairs and watch your step. So, as you guys saw in that video, it was very small clips of things that this man has done in an illustrious over 60-year career. Try to put a little splash of everything in there for you, but I know Star Wars is huge. Do note I put things in there like Robot Chicken and Lego. That's because this man was Lando in everything. The radio dramas, the Lego movies, literally every time you hear his voice, the video games, it's always Billy, except this one time in a film that we don't talk about. But, aside from being an amazing actor and an award-winning artist, we now have a new credit to add to this gentleman's body of work. He is a New York Times bestsellers author with his autobiography. So, Billy, what's it like to be an author on the New York Times bestsellers list?
I spent 2.5 years on this thing, and it was a very interesting experience. When you start revealing things about your life, it's a kind of a dual kind of experience. You want to say things, and then you get really excited about talking about a lot of interesting things. This book has a lot of interesting things. Since I was a boy, I grew up in New York City, and my sister and I had a twin sister, and it was really a wonderful, beautiful, extraordinary in many ways experience. I had the opportunity to be exposed to a lot of the interesting things at a very early point in my life. So I decided, since I'm 87 years old now, I might as well to talk about my legacy, so to speak. And I just really wanted to, I don't know what happens when, I guess when you reach a certain stage in life, you just want to kind of talk about, I don't know if it's because you feel like you've been misunderstood, or what is it?
Well, I don't know, I'm not an author, but...
And you're not 87. Yeah. I just wanted to kind of let people know there are interesting things going on sometimes with people like me in show business. I guess most people in show business are pretty interesting people.
But not all of them are willing to share. You have a lot of amazing stories.
But since I was, I started show business when I was 6.5 years old on Broadway in a musical. And I work with some of the most interesting and most extraordinary people in the business in life. So I decided to put this little tale together.
When you were writing the book for 2 years, Billy, was there anything that as you were going through the stories in your head that you had forgotten about, and then it came to you and went, oh, that's going in the book for sure?
Well, there you go. Lots of stuff, I guess. Yeah.
I wanted you to point something out so that people would get excited and buy the book.
Well, at an early stage in my life, I worked with people. Most of you probably have no idea who any of these people I'm about to mention are. Well, I remember once meeting Edward G. Robinson. I was doing a play on Broadway with Laurence Olivier's wife, with Joan Florright and Angela Lansbury. I was about 22, I think, 22 or 23 years old. And I did a play called The Taste of Honey. And so, to have opportunities to sit and have great conversations with people like Paul Muni. That was my first movie, The Last Angry Man. And then to spend time having conversations with Laurence Olivier. And at a very young age, to have those kind of experiences was very, very valuable to me.
And I think if people buy the book today, which we have at the booth.
But then there's my mommy and my daddy. Mommy and daddy were really wonderful people. So I'm very proud to say that I'm from a working class family. And they were wonderful people to be around and to be exposed to.
The book is filled with these stories that he wants to tell you all. He's got pictures of his family life and his films. So it's an amazing another piece of art.
Even spending time with Brando, Jimmy Baldwin. It was a kind of a rarity about those experiences. And then, of course, as far as my painting is concerned, I went to one of the finest art schools in New York City, the National Academy of Design for the Fine Arts, where I spent 2 years on the painting on a scholarship. And was nominated for, when I was about 19, I was nominated for Guggenheim. And, but I won a Paul Garden, which is comparable to a Guggenheim. But one of the Smithsonian owns one of my paintings. The Schoenberg in New York owns one of my paintings. The Kansas City Jazz Museum owns a piece of mine. So painting has always been very much a part of my life, and as well as this thing called acting. But it's all been very interesting. It's been an adventure, to say the least.
For those of you who are unaware with the Hall Garden, the Guggenheim, those are the Oscars basically in the art world. So it's a very high honor to be blessed with those accolades, certainly. I think Billy would probably, if I begged him, I bet I don't have to beg him. When he was 6.5 years old and he started off on stage, he actually still remembers his lines. Why don't you give the audience a little taste of that?
Wait for the Duchess, for her grace the Duchess. Make way for the Duchess, for her regal Duchess. And I'd come back on stage with a message from the Duchess. Message from the Duchess, from her grace the Duchess. Message from the Duchess, from her regal Duchess. That was an adorable little boy.
So, if you guys would like to see more of his artwork, you can go to his website.
I also did an album too. I did an album.
Wait, can we do one thing at a time? The website first.
Well, you got me going here.
Tell them the website.
No, I get what website?
Just see your
My
art.
website.
Your website, yes.
I don't know, what is my website?
Very hard, sir.
Billy
No,
D.
that
Billy
one.
D. Williams.
.com.
I don't know, all this technology stuff.
It's,
Very
yeah.
good,
So go there, look at some art. We actually have one of his pieces hanging at our booth as well. He did a piece called The Empire Strikes Back, which you can buy at our booth. And, but no pressure. We also have the books for sale, but now finish, because I know people want to hear about the album that if you poke around on Amazon,
an album
you
in
can get.
1970, and, what was it, 61, called Let's Misbehave with Billy D. Williams. You know the song A Taste of Honey? Nobody knows A Taste of Honey.
Yeah.
One person said yes.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, that was the first to ever sing that song on stage, actually. So as a result of that, I ended up doing this album called, as I said, Let's Misbehave with Billy D. Williams. You know. But all of this stuff is always so funny to me. I mean, I laugh at myself a lot, you know. I always call myself a walking absurdity. It gives me a lot of room to be aware, to understand being abstract, you know, to understand. I don't think I will ever reach a point where I would ever call myself a wise man. Wisdom is not something that I have really experienced yet. I'm still like a little kid trying to figure it all out, even at this stage. Anyway.
Aside from the aches and pains, you don't feel like an old man.
What?
Aside from the aches and pains, you don't feel like an old man.
I guess sometimes I do. I don't know what I feel.
Thank you for going with me on that path.
I'm just trying to enjoy it. I just want to enjoy life. I want to smile a lot instead of frowning a lot. I want to enjoy everybody, all wonderful people. It's always nice to do this, traveling around and doing these Comic-Cons, because I get a chance to meet the people who've been really very important to my life and my career. And so it's my way, my opportunity to say thanks.
We have a gentleman in the audience who's going to... We have a gentleman in the audience who's going to walk around with a microphone right here to get your questions. So put your hands in the air. What's your name, sir?
Ben.
We just lost your friendship.
So many tens of thousands of us have asked you for autographs throughout the years with different messages of things that were personal to us. If you could write something specific just to put out there to the universe, autographing anything, what would that message be?
I love you.
Okay, you pick. I don't
Sure, I'm going to go right here.
Awesome. What's your
Stand
name?
up, please.
What's your name, sir?
Bradley. In your book, you talk about your love for Duke Ellington, and you wrote a script for a movie of his life, and you said you put it on the shelf. Is there any way that we're ever going to see that work come to fruition?
I'm done. No, I always wanted to do Ellington's life. I thought I was the best person to do that kind of a character. And I met Ellington a couple of times in my life. The first time I met him was a friend of mine was a managing editor for a newspaper in New York, in Harlem. Al Duckett, who was a wonderful writer, a wonderful poet. He gave a reception for Ellington. I was about 18 years old at the time, I think. And this was a big room like this, and it was filled with all of these ladies waiting for Ellington. And Ellington was very charming. In fact, he used to compete with his father to see who was most charming. They evidently had a lot of fun with each other. Anyway, all of these ladies were waiting for Ellington. And it was really interesting. When he came into the room, and it was wall to wall, these ladies, and he made each woman feel like she was the only woman in the room. And I thought, that was incredible. The second time I met him, I wanted to tell him almost I wanted to do his life story. I met him in Vegas when I was under contract to Berry Gordy, who started Motown, and it was right after I did Lady Sings the Blues. And I really wanted to say to Ellington how much I really admired him and how much I wanted to, and I thought I was the only one who really understood his kind of sensibility, kind of an old-fashioned kind of charm. But I never. He was very interesting. He just sat there. I sat in his dressing room, and he waited for me to say something. I didn't know what to say. He never asked me to leave. He never prompted me to explain why I did not leave his room. He just sort of waited. And so finally I just got up and left. But anyway, he was extraordinary. But that's the other thing too. As far as musicians are concerned, I've met some really, really incredible people like Clark Terry. I don't know if you know who Clark Terry is. He was one of the great jazz from the bebop era. In fact, when I end my book with Chandelier, baby, that's an old kind of from Lester Young came up with that expression. He was one of the great saxophonists. And the Clark and I used to sit, and he sort of, he talked about his experience. I was much more interested in his experiences as from that era, that bebop era. Now, I grew up in that during those years, from the swing, from swing to playing the little clubs. They were fun years. It was very interesting meeting all of those guys. But my wife was married to, he just passed away, Wayne Shorter. He was one of the greats. But Joe Zawinul, when you spend time with those kind of guys, it's really amazing, really amazing. Anyway.
Go to the young kids over here.
Yes, sir.
Get some questions from them.
Absolutely. Would you like to stand up? Come on, stand up.
What's your name, buddy?
Lachlan.
Hi.
Yeah.
Are you mad at me? Did I do something wrong?
Is this your first year at ICCC?
The what?
Is this your first year here?
Is this your first year here at the ICC convention?
Yes.
This is his first year at the ICC con. Do you have a question?
Generally, years for a period of time, I'd always have a little kid admonish me about betraying him. So I wasn't waiting for it. Not me, Lando.
Lachlan doesn't know what to do with that information. Lando is happy that you did not accuse him of betrayal. That's it, buddy. So you did good. Thumbs up. Yes, go ahead.
Right here, come on, stand up, please.
What's your name?
My name's Sebastian. I'm Lachlan's brother. I heard that during that Sarlacc pit scene, you actually got hurt. Is that true?
Yeah, I got a, what do you call it?
Squid.
Squib in my foot. Harrison was supposed to save me at that moment, you know. And he was acting so much that I was yelling, I'm hurt. And he was so involved with his character. And he was acting up a storm. And he just got completely involved in what he had to do. But anyway, yeah, I did get squid.
Special effect explosion.
In my foot. Yeah.
How long were you out?
Acting is not an easy work.
How long were you out, Billy? A day for that?
No, I continued.
The show must go on. See that? Good question.
We got one. Okay, let's get this handsome gentleman here.
What's your name, sir?
Lando.
In the bingo long traveling all stars and motor kings, how much did you practice baseball? Was it a natural for you playing baseball?
Well, when I was a kid, I played a little baseball. I played for a junior Yankee team in New York, called the Brown Bombers. So as a kid, I played a considerable amount of baseball, but certainly when we did the bingo long traveling all stars and motor kings, we went into training, you know, so that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, especially working with those the Negro baseball players of the 30s and 40s. It was really educational. And back in those years, the stuff that we did in the car, with throwing the ball to the ground and having it ricochet back, I mean, there was no CGI on that. It was the real deal. Those guys were amazing.
If you guys haven't seen that film, you should check it out because it is really good.
Oh, it's classic.
Really good. I know they said we had to be pretty tight, but I'm going to go, because we were late, I'm going to go a little late, and Michael said that was okay. So let's get some more questions going. I'll let you decide.
I'm going to come right here. Just stand up, please.
What's your name, sir?
Adam, people call me Chipwood. They call me Chipwood, that's my last name. Yeah, I don't ever go by my first name.
You were the gentleman, you were in the armed forces, right?
Yeah, retired Navy.
Thank you for your service. Thank you to everyone in this audience who defends our nation.
Grew up a Star Wars kid, I grew up a comic kid, and then when you got to play Harvey Dent, I was like, yes, Lando's going to be Harvey Dent, which means he's going to be Two-Face, and then the rug kind of got pulled out from that. Who would have done it better, you or Tommy Lee?
Well, I'm a big fan of Tommy Lee Jones. He's one of my favorite actors. So, for me, he always does a credible job as an actor. But I would have brought something different, and I wanted to do it. John Roberts wanted me to play Harvey Dent in the district. I think what happened was that the Japanese, I think Sony, bought out the rights to that franchise. So I don't think they used anybody from that first movie, did they?
Yeah, no, everything changed hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was looking forward to it.
Well, you know, he did get to play Harvey Dent. Two-Face in the Lego movie.
That's right.
And if you guys
that's
are
the
comic
irony
fans,
of this wonderful life experience.
if you guys are comic fans, they did a Batman '89 continuation, and Billy as Two-Face is in the comic book. So we actually have those for sale at the booth also. Let's keep going.
I'm coming right over here. This young lady always does a fantastic
Oh, that's
question.
Mom. Hi, Mom.
Thank you. Hi. Hello. I am a huge fan. Like my entire childhood, I watched you in so many different movies. Lady Sings the Blues, you know, Mahogany, Brian's Song, like all of that. And when I saw you as Lando, I was immediately like just obsessed. I'm like, this is fantastic. So in your book, you talked about how you were, you know, how you were connected with Langston Hughes and with James Baldwin. So how much of an influence did they have on you to encourage you to think outside of the box? Because Lando with the cape, like, come on, like you were an icon immediately and so out of the box from what we have experienced. So how much did they pour into you, and also how much did you pour into them? Because I know it was reciprocated.
Well, it was reciprocal for sure. By the way, you're raising a very fine young man. He has quality. But as far as those experiences with Jimmy and Langston and all of those people, you know, I learned a lot from them. You know, and I'm really an individual. I'm one of those followers of the whole idea of being an individual or individualism. I'm not a follower. I'm not a person that's interested in joining. I tried joining situations where protest situations, and I always found that I was always very dissatisfied, only because I always feel like everybody wants to be boss. And you know, in those groups, these little groups end up, you know, protesting everything. Not that it's wrong to protest, and a lot of people, it's I guess a wonderful way to live their life. But I don't live my that way. I guess I'm kind of I mean, I like being around people, but I like being by myself and just sort of coming up with interesting, what I perceive as interesting ideas. I'm always looking to be innovative, I suppose. And I mean, when I did Lando, I mean, when I heard Calrissian, I said, my goodness, Calrissian, that's interesting. What can I do with that? I found out it was an Armenian name. I said, whoa, let me play with that idea. And then when I got the cape, I was thinking Errol Flynn. So the combination of the two, so I came up with this whole point of view that this guy is he's beyond all of these questions we find ourselves admired in, as far as, you know, racial differences and all that sort of stuff. I'm not really interested in that kind of stuff. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just not into all of that. I'm always looking to make things bigger than life, which to me makes it much more interesting.
Let's see if we can squeeze in two. One for sure, maybe two. How about the young lady over here?
Certainly. You stand up, please.
What's your name, sweetheart?
Hi, I'm Nilda. How are you?
Hi.
Hi. So my only question for you is if Donald Glover was actually allowed to produce the standalone Lando film, would you love to be part of that?
Well, when I think of Lando, I only think of me. I created the character, so, and I wanted to make him really different and unique. I don't think of anybody else really. Donald Glover is a very talented young man, extraordinarily talented, and especially musically. He does interesting stuff. He's very innovative. But when it comes to Lando, hello, not everybody has that kind of charm.
The one and only original. Let's do one more question, I think, before we get thrown out of here.
Let's do right here at the front. Just stand up, please.
What's your name, sir?
Andrew. So you mentioned earlier in the talk that once you reach a certain age, you have this desire to have other people understand you. With such a long and storied life and career, how did you decide what to include in the book, and how did that desire to be understood affect what you selected?
Well, there's so much to talk about, you know, and I started one book. I'm still working on it. It's just about finished. When I started working on it about 25 years ago, and it's a coffee table book. It's my life being told through my paintings. Very interesting idea. And my paintings, I'm a good painter. So that's something since I've had the success with this one, my intention is to do this coffee table book. So, writing is something that I've been doing all of my life, really. You know, one way or another, I was always documenting things. But I don't know. You know, my whole life revolves around creativity. So it's always been, if I was not writing, I'd be painting. If I wasn't painting, I was acting. And the rest of it, I was messing around with a lot of ladies. I love women. I love women. As crazy as you ladies are. I love you.
That's a good note to go on. I'm going to give you a pin for that because you got his brain spinning. Sebastian, I want you to come up and get one for the Sarla pit. And Ben, the quote thing was interesting. Who? Ben? Oh, he left? How did he know he was going to win? Am I okay to give it to this guy to give to Ben?
Yeah.
You all know him?
We know.
He's shady If Ben comes to me later and asks where it is, you're in a lot of trouble.
And the Star Wars Celebration host himself is probably going to judge me because I'm not nearly as good as him, Mr. Warwick Davis! How's it going, sir? I'm well. I'm doing really good.
Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing? Yeah. You wasn't know you're in America because everyone hoops and hollers. In the UK, we go, yes, well done, thank you.
In America, they can hoop and holler?
They can, I love it.
How you guys doing?
Hello. Now you hoop and holler. They're very well trained.
They do better than you. They do better than you.
Excellent work.
So how's it going? Is this a question I've been asking everybody? Is this your first time in Nashville? You been here before?
I've never been here before. It's very nice. Everyone's very warm, very welcoming, as they are in this room. Hoop and holler, cue.
How about that Nashville barbecue?
Oh, it was very nice. Woo! Yeah. It was a strange environment, though. We were having a Nashville barbecue in a kind of McDonald's corporate headquarters. So Ronald McDonald was sat at the side. We weren't eating his food.
I walked in the room and I was like, because Michael's texting out to a great dinner. I'm like, I saw the McDonald's and I was like, are you kidding? Yeah. No, but they catered in this great food place in downtown.
It was very nice. Yeah, very. Everything came from Nashville. The beer, the chicken, the what else did we have? There was some wonderful dessert.
Yeah, it was
a pokey pudding or something.
Banana, vanilla wafer pudding.
Vanilla wafer pudding, banana. Or a banana pudding, as I would say.
Now, before they kill me, can we talk about Star Wars?
Might they kill you? We've got to do everything
We're not
here.
talking about Star Wars yet.
This is Hogwarts to somewhere else, isn't it?
Not talking about Hogwarts?
No, the name of this panel is called Hogwarts to Endor and Beyond.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, well done.
I'm doing it. So
Who's the host?
he told me backstage, he's like, we'll see how you do. So we're going to find out. They're all wearing Star Wars shirts. Is there any Hogwarts shirts out there? Is there one? Oh gosh.
What's a Hogwarts?
They're turning ugly already.
No, it's not turning ugly already.
It is. Can't you feel it?
Watch, no, watch. I'm going to do it. So you were kind of like, we're roughly the same age, so we kind of grew up watching Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. We had the toys, we had the shirts, we loved the movies. And then it went a little better for you because when you were... Well, you
Look where you are.
What?
Look where you are. Look where I am. Actually, no, we're on the same stage, so... And we're the same age. Are we?
Roughly, I think we're about the same.
So what do you reckon? Who's doing better?
Oh my God. You and I don't have it out, sir.
So what's your first question?
I forgot. No, so how'd your Star Wars story begin? I think you and I were fans growing up. A lot of guys in the room, guys and gals in the room, grew up watching in the 70s and 80s. But I guess 82, 81, you got a... Well, you can tell the story from there, how you got involved in Star Wars.
Do you want to tell it, or shall I? I'll tell the story. Let's do it.
You know, I've interviewed James Arnold Taylor, too, from Celebration, and he was much nicer.
Was he? Oh, he was very nice. He was a very nice man. So let me think. Well, you all know this story, don't you?
Yes.
Come on, somebody must. Do you know the story? You do.
I will tell it if you want.
Come up here. Come on, come up there. Sit there.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Don something or other.
Otherwise known as Warwick Davis. Okay, so Warwick, tell me, how did you get the pie in Star Wars?
Had to do with cookies and milk and Princess Leia, right?
Well,
you want me to do it?
That happened afterwards, yeah.
You want me to do it?
Oh, you know, do you?
So when Warwick Davis
Can I
was
just
about...
check something? Has this guy been cleared through security? He's very close to me right now.
Tim, where are you at?
Tim, are you going now? He's gone. I understand. I couldn't wait to get down.
They're not going to want to hear me talk about it. They've been listening to me all weekend.
I'll do this quickly.
Quickly.
Okay, my grandmother was listening to the radio, doing the washing up. I'm embellishing now. An announcement came on from Lucasfilm. They were looking for short people to be in the new Star Wars movie. So my nan heard the word Star Wars and little person, knew I loved Star Wars, and suggested to my mum she phone the number in the commercial. My mum did, and they said, sorry, we've got everyone we need. So I don't know whether mum offered them cash, I don't know what she said, but they said, well, bring Warwick up to the studios, would love to meet him. So I went up to the studios, all enthusiastic. The secretary said, so, do you like Star Wars? I went, yeah. She said, do you want to play an Ewok? I said, what's one of them? Well, you're going to find out in 5 minutes when you get them measured up for a costume. And that was it. That was my start in this business. Without that moment, I wouldn't be here right now. So I thank my grandmother for everything, my whole career, basically. So that, as they say in the business, was my lucky break. And I've had many of those along the way, but that was the one that started it all. So that's the answer.
You were 12 when it started?
I was 11.
You were 11, so you're old enough to remember. So, like, what was that first day like? I guess were you on the set? Were you in California?
So first day on set for me was in the Endor set. So the villages in the trees was a set at Elstree Studios, polystyrene trees, real wood little bridges. You know, exactly as you see it in the movie. So I met my heroes really that day: Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher. But all I did was see them as the characters. So I couldn't see Harrison Ford, he was Han Solo stood over there. And Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. So yeah, just between takes I didn't understand that you don't do this kind of thing. I would just wander up to them and say, hey, how's it going? Have a quick chat. And you're not supposed to do that to the big stars in a movie. But they actually loved it. They were very accommodating to my questions. You know, can I have a look at your lightsaber, that kind of thing. And
you made that side movie, The Return of the Ewok.
Oh, Return of the Ewok, that's right, yeah. Yeah, so David Tomlin, who was the first assistant director, he kind of would sort of wake up at night and have this idea of creating a short film based on me getting the role in Star Wars, a kind of fictional version of that. And it was called Return of the Ewok. So he borrowed a 16mm camera, in lunch breaks and after work we started shooting this film about me getting the part in Star Wars. And Mark and Harrison and Carrie, they all volunteered their time to be part of it. There's cameos from Frank Oz as Yoda. It was an incredible little film. Bits of it have been released on DVDs, but never the whole thing. But it's quite special.
There's a version on YouTube.
I think they kind of cobbled it together from times I've shown it at conventions and stuff. So it does exist in a form, but I'm the only person with a full version.
Now we've been like 10 minutes into it. How am I doing?
You're doing good, actually. Yeah, very good. Yeah,
I
a little bit casual the way you're sat, though.
You want me to be casual, do you?
I don't know.
This morning I had somebody who said they were very intimidated by me, and I was trying to
Really?
be as casual as possible because I'm big and have a deep voice. You want me to like, you were. But
No, stay there.
actually, to be honest, one of the best things I've done as a stage host, I stole an idea from you that
What did you do?
that you did with Carrie, where you reenacted your scenes with her from Return of the Jedi. I did it with Anthony Forrest, who's the sand trooper. These aren't the droids we're looking for. He's actually he's here this weekend, and he'll be on this panel stage tomorrow. But I reenacted his scene with a bunch of people, and everyone thought I was crazy for doing it. I'm like, no. Warwick Davis can do it. It's funny. I think I can do it. Mine wasn't as funny as yours because you had great props and stuff. All I had was a kid in a yellow shirt pretending he was C-3PO.
That's good. I like that. Yeah.
Well, so I stole it from you. So I don't.
Yeah, well,
borrowed it.
Yeah, I used to call that segment Stage Wars.
Stage Wars. Okay,
Yeah.
use that.
You can have that name as
You
well.
already said that, so it's not stage.
Yeah, I reenacted the scene from episode 1 with Ray Park. So I was Qui-Gon Jinn in that. And instead of the beams across, we had some cellophanes that people would run into. I think I hung off the stage at one point and tried to leap up.
And you had a guy in this audience help you get up, I remember, because I was one row behind.
I didn't know it was quite so high. I threw myself off and couldn't get back on. Someone lift me up.
I think that was Orlando, right? Was it Orlando?
I don't know, I did it, I kept using the same gag, so I did it in several places. Star Wars weekends.
How many hosts have you done for Celebration? It's gotta be.
I've done 4 or 5. But I mean, people thought I just kind of rocked up and asked questions, but I spent months before writing the shows, producing the video segments. I mean, it's a lot of work, And
I did the same thing. Well, I'm casual. Like
you are casual. I like his style. Do you like his style? Yeah, they love you, man.
I've done panels. These guys can vouch. I've done panels all weekend wearing Star Wars T-shirts for you. For you, I wore a button-down shirt.
You've gone posh on me. That's what I
got a posh word.
Posh. It's an English word.
So, other than Star Wars, what movies are you into? Before or since? What's like your favorite movie?
What movies am I into? I like comedies. Anything with I love Chevy Chase's older work. Obviously Steve Vai and John Candy, Planes, Trains, Automobile's favourite film.
That's a great film.
Absolutely. And what else? Will Ferrell movies. Yeah, that's my guilty pleasure in watching this stuff. Never, no, I've never met him either. Should I? I'm a bit worried if he might be not very nice.
No, he's a good guy in real life.
Good.
I've never met him. Anyway, so you did Star Wars, and then a couple years after that, George Lucas called you again and did something else.
Yeah, what was next? The Ewok movies were next.
Oh, I guess you're right. The Ewok movies.
So we did those 2, and then Labyrinth came after that. Surely, George was involved in Jim Henson. Yeah, that was a fun project. Yeah, it was lovely. So got to work with Jim
and then 87, 88 you had.
Then Willow was next. Yeah, lots of moving on. Thank you.
How did that come about? Did George call you up and say, "I've got something years down the road," or did you already have it?
In '83, he said to my mum when we were doing Ewok movies, "I've got this idea for Warwick, but he's not quite old enough yet." In 1987, it turned out that idea was Willow, but I still had to audition, even though it was written for me, because Ron Howard, as director, said, "I don't think he's old enough to play the character." The character's, a father, and I was 17 at the time. So he started to audition all over the world, and finally I did one last audition in Los Angeles. up against other actors playing Mad Mardigan. So they wanted to find the chemistry. So I was auditioning all day. We had different actors come in. John Cusack came in, and then Val was one of them. So when Val turned up, he kind of came in all dishevelled looking. He was sunburned because he'd driven his car from New Mexico without a roof. And then he was all scruffy, he kind of just staggered in, and we did the scene in the cage at the crossroads, if you remember the film. So we did that a couple of times. And then at the end of that day, George and Ron came and said, Warwick, we want you to play Willow. And that was it. Yeah, so
Yeah, that was great.
I kind of passed the test.
Excellent. So what was that set like? You know, there's some great players in there.
What I mean was quite an adventure just making the film. We shot all over the world, you know, from America to London to New Zealand. It was an epic shoot, absolute epic shoot. I mean, one little fact I love, if you remember the film, we escape to a mountaintop and go into a house, a little hut, and in that hut we go down into the basement. So the actual hut was on a mountain in New Zealand, the basement was in a studio in London. So we go down these stairs from New Zealand and emerge at the bottom of the stairs in London. So that's quite incredible.
The magic of Hollywood. That was a great, what was it, 88 that movie? It was a great
1988, yeah.
And after that, we had the Leprechaun series.
Yeah, then I was desperate for work after that. As you can tell.
Oh, come on. They were good. I mean, they made like 6 of them, right?
They did. They were desperate. They didn't know where to go. We went to space, they went to Hood twice. So, and then we stopped, blinded anyway. They've since carried on, but I haven't seen the new ones. Anyone seen the new Leprechaun movies?
No,
Obviously very successful.
And then I guess, so moving towards the mid-90s, you get a call again from Lucasfilm.
Mid-90s, what was that then? Are we talking about the new Star Wars films? Oh yeah, the prequels, that was next, wasn't it? Sorry, to me now Star Wars is like a blur, there's so much of it in my head. That sounds very blasé, I know, but yeah, episode 1 was next, so off to Tunisia. Well, I'd been actually messaging George for years. We didn't have like phones to message, so I'd keep sending him faxes. I think he was so sick of changing the factor roll, because I sent him so many messages, that he said, okay, you can be in the film. So he kind of came up with this character, Wald, who was Anakin's best friend. And then, whilst we were filming, he said, I'm sorry, Warwick, you know, you've done Willow, and now I've put you back in a rubber head. So let's make another character for you, which was Weasel, watching the pod race, that kind of long-haired guy, who since came back in another Star Wars movie, in Solo, which I thought was cool.
That's the same character?
That's the same character, but older, yeah.
Wow, I thought I knew my Star Wars. Did you know that?
The same guy.
I got a good friend over there. He's a big Star Wars guy like myself. I didn't know. Did you guys know that was the same character?
It is. It's Weasel, the same guy.
Do you know what I always heard about that character? I heard that character was Willow. Because you have pretty much the same kind of wig. And it's
ILM, when they were doing the pod race sequence and they would cut to me as Weasel, they would call that the Willow shot. That's where it was named.
Yeah, but I thought there was a comic or a fan comic or something like that where they actually told the story that, you know, Willow went off and did something and he ended up in the Star Wars universe.
Well, that's weird, isn't it? Or some wormhole somewhere. Oh, we did have portals in the series, didn't we? I could have gone through a portal.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Right,
I'm just going to sit back on the chair, which worries me. I said this the other day, that I've trodden in something, I'll see the bottom of my feet. All clear? All good. You can't see the L and the R on my feet. I should do that for fun one day. Okay, so now I'm looking casual like you. Casual like in the chair.
I'll try to be more...
So where were we? I forgot what we were talking about.
We were talking about the Phantom Menace and your return to the Star Wars universe.
Phantom Menace. Indeed, yes, so I did that film. What do you want a story about it, or did I just...
Oh yeah, story would be great, a little anecdote.
So, we're doing this scene where we're watching the pod race. So I'm sitting in a set, which is just a grandstand. Some aliens around and I'm sat there. And the AD now and again goes, right, the pod's flying through and it's gone by. And at that point they blast some air at you from the aircraft propeller to simulate the kind of backdraft of the pod going by. Got very bright light shining in our faces, from the twin suns, of course. And an alien's coming round serving kind of snacks. So each time she comes by in a take, I take some crisps, which were kind of regular kind of chips that have been dyed to look like alien chips. and this drink, which was a mixture of fruit juices all poured into one to make a weird concoction. So I'd take some of these chips, a sip of the concoction. Okay, repeat that about 30 or 40 times, you'd have chronic indigestion. I felt so ill. And then the bright light shone in my face, so I laid my head back and I just fell asleep. And I woke up to a tapping on my foot, looked down, there was a bearded man with a plaid shirt on. It was George going, "Warwick, what are you doing? I'm going in my movie and you're asleep." And sorry, I feel really ill. And so I was pretty embarrassed by that.
And then you had, obviously, you had the Rhodian outfit on, you had to wear in the desert. That must have been really...
Well, yeah, I did a bit of Rhodian in the desert, but at the same time, I kind of had a lot of days off in Tunisia, so instead of sitting at the hotel, I went out to set to kind of watch. And George said to me, "Hey Warwick, what are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm off today, I'm just come to watch." He said, "Well, we can't have you here doing nothing. Go get yourself a costume and make yourself look different." So I went back to wardrobe, I grabbed all my costumes together, kind of mixed them up, went to makeup, I said, "Make me look different." They paid stubble on me, did things, and so then I went out into the set, and it was the day that Annie Leibovitz was there doing some photography. So I managed to kind of sneak in there as this kind of character they since named Grimy. Very creative, huh? And so there was another character kind of wandering the streets of Mos Espa.
That's great. Now, we're going to be opening the audience for questions, so I think we got Longwater's going to come out.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
They don't
Where's
know
Longwater?
ready,
Right?
do they?
Just show of hands. Does anybody have a question?
Oh, there are some questions.
I'm coming right up here to the front. You stand, please.
Hi, sir. I'm Michael. I'm here with my mom, Sheila. We love all the fandom stuff and Nick-a-Brick and Narnia, but my favorite performance of yours is actually your role as yourself in Life's Too Short. I'm curious what inspired your characterization of yourself. What was that like? It's great fun.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. So in Life's Too Short, I play a version of myself. I know the idea came about was companies wanting to make a documentary about me. I'm in the right place, are they?
Hold high. Sheet high.
Aye.
Sheet high.
That's better. Thank you. I've got your slobber on the end of this.
You're like brutal to me today, you know that? I'm a nice guy. I learned how to be a host from you. I learned from watching you.
You've done very well. You need to insult the guest a bit more then. That's my style. Yours is actually softer than mine.
What do you want here?
Take a new fresh one.
Fresh. Hit the mold up now. The one that works. Hello.
The abusive celebrity needs a brand clean new mic.
Just a minute, I think this one's EQ'd slightly differently to make him sound better.
Kevin Lyle will never sound better.
Thank you.
Never sound better.
So do you do a YouTube thing?
No.
Why do I keep saying that to you?
What's it?
I said it yesterday thinking you were on YouTube.
Most people think I have like a radio voice and such. I don't.
You got a good face for radio.
Just keep in mind, you're famous for wearing a mask. I better watch out, because the thing is, you can say what you want. You can say what you want. I say the wrong thing, they'll kill me in the bar tonight. You can get away with anything. Did we answer his question?
Not yet, I was halfway through when you interrupted. Okay, what are we saying? Life's Too Short.
We have totally forgotten Life's Too Short.
Yeah, that's what we do. So, documentary companies were approaching me saying, "We want to follow you around with a camera." I said, "Well, no, I'm not sure." And then the more companies that said it to me, I thought, well, maybe I should do the documentary myself. At least I can control what we film and what we don't film. So I decided in the end, it'd be funny to film it and manipulate the reality. Kind of make out that I have a massive house, massive car, which I didn't, and just manipulate those realities for the documentary. And then it started to turn into a comical idea, and that's how Life's Too Short was born. I shot a few scenes where I played this really obnoxious version of myself and really enjoyed doing it, and that's what I took to Ricky and Stephen, which they absolutely loved, and they said, "We want to do more of this." And then just sat with them for a few weeks, told stories about my life, stuff that happens to me every day, and they would take those moments and kind of embellish them into funny scenes. So one of the scenes you'll see in Life's Too Short, do you have them in America, a little hole in the door where you can see who's there? People. Okay, yeah. Well, that sounds rude. It's a spy hole, we call it.
Hey, Longwater, do you want to finish this interview?
I'm enjoying watching him have his way with you.
See, that sounds wrong in itself. That's worse, isn't it? Can I just say one thing here? We shouldn't have this on the internet, but I was in the lift the other day with my girlfriend. She was holding 2 cans of soda, and the guy in there said, "Oh, you're double fisting." What's that?
You have two, in this country, just means you have 2 drinks, one in each hand. You drink with just one hand.
Oh, I see.
You're an alcoholic, so you were drinking with 2. Double fisting.
Just got rid. Can we turn the AC up? Yeah. I don't know where I was. Where am I now? Oh, the people. Oh, peephole, you call it that. So the spy hole in the door. So I told him a story about my house, and I said, we had a guy come and fit a spy hole for us, and he started to drill, and I said, no, I want it down there. And we put it in the door, and then, like my height, and then I said, right, let's test this out. So looked through the hole, and I couldn't see the guy's face, because it was right up here. Just his groin. So you can't identify a pizza delivery man from his groin, unless you know him really well. And that was it. So they took that scene and put it in Life's Too Short, but then they took it one stage further. So we put the hole up high. I said, no, it's got to be lower. The guy fills it all in again, makes it look good, puts it lower. I can only see the groin. Then we cut later on. I said, it's got to go back up where it was. So later on we cut to me answering the door, and the guys put some steps on the back of the door. I walk up the steps to look through the spy hole, and then when the door's open, I'm on the steps and I go with the door. You can see the clip on YouTube if you haven't got the series. Just look up Warwick Davis. Don't look up Warwick Davis peephole, whatever you do. That's how another search.
If you're gonna do that, look up the Warwick Davis, Liam Neeson, and Jerry Gervais, Jimmy Gervais, what is it? Ricky Gervais. Sorry. That one is
the outtakes.
Yeah, that's just so
crazy,
funny.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. Do we Longwater? We got the guy in the funny hat. I'm just kidding. He's a friend of mine.
So we were following a chronology here, but we didn't actually get to the Harry Potter stuff. How did you land that role and things like that?
Okay, Harry Potter.
Oh, so there are Harry Potter fans here.
I'm following the Hooper and I love it. You guys follow me around. Actually, second thoughts. Okay, so Harry Potter. The book was a huge success. People started saying to me, now there must be something in there for you when they make a movie of this. And so it came about they were going to audition for people for the movie. So they asked me to go in to read for this role of Professor Flitwick. So the night before the audition, I bought the book, quickly skimmed through to Flitwick, kind of tried to understand who this guy was, and went in and did the audition of the pages they'd given me. So in an audition, you normally have the director, the producer, maybe the casting directors as well. So I went in, did the scene with the Wingardium Leviosa feather levitation. Played opposite the director, Chris Columbus. So we did the scene a couple of times, then we just started improvising. There was lots of laughter in the room, which was a good sign. And then I went away. They said, thanks very much. Don't call us, we'll call you. So I left the room, really hoping I had the part. The trouble is, when you really want a part as an actor, you usually don't get it, because they kind of smell the desperation. So I was just like, oh, I really want this to be fun. So I went away. 3 weeks later, I remember the phone call. My agent said, hey Warwick, you remember you went for Harry Potter? They'd love you to play Professor Phileas Flitwick. I said, well wait there, that's not it. They'd also love you to play the Goblin Bank Teller as well. So I got 2 roles for the price of 1. But I didn't get paid twice. And that was it. So during the filming as well, I was then offered the part of Grip Hook's voice for the first movie, because his embodiment was played by the lovely Vern Troyer. And so they wanted the Goblin voices to kind of have some sort of synergy across the whole thing. So I'd done the Goblin Bank Teller. So they said, well, you do a Grip Hook voice for us as well. And the Grip Hook in the first movie was Vern, so he was very, very tiny. So I kind of pitched it, key please. I pitched it very high. But then later on when I played Grip Hook in the full body version, I then also pitched his voice down, because he was a slightly more menacing character. So it wouldn't have sounded quite right, him speaking up there. And that was it, yeah.
We got a question on this side?
I'm coming over this way.
I like watching lawnmower just run back and forth. It's like,
There he goes.
that's my boss, and I like to do this thing.
I'm coming right over this way. Please stand.
Hi, pleasure
Hello.
to hang out with you and listen to all your stories. It's amazing. What was it like for you working with David Bowie on The Labyrinth, and what character did you play?
So I played a couple of characters in Labyrinth. One was called Bumpot. Bumpot. B-U-M-P-O-T, Bumpot. The other was called World War II, WW2, because his face was a bit like a gas mask kind of thing. David Bowie, what was he like? He's very nice. I mean, obviously he had that big 80s hair, so he was quite intimidating when he walked on set. He was also smuggling a few pairs of socks. But no, he's a really nice guy, and you know, it's really wonderful just to watch him done miming to the songs that he recorded for those sequences. Yeah, it was cool, fun. And also the puppeteers that work with Henson are such fantastic people. You know, and I was only 15 then, so to get to hang out with those guys, that's such fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, Jim Henson, great.
Oh, genius, absolutely, yeah.
I knew his wife, he was a great guy. So the next question. Right over here, Lamar.
I'm coming this way.
Faster, faster, come on, we started late.
Please stand.
Hi, my wife is very jealous of me that I get to ask you a question today. You talked about your opportunity that came from them putting in a paper an ad asking for little people, and like they're going to be in a few years casting this new Harry Potter series, and like your son, which it's now occurring to me why his name is Harrison, was in Rise of Skywalker. But there's this thing going on where people are wanting to be inclusive but also have representation. But I think in the name of inclusivity, they're maybe saying that they're not going to hire short people for some of these roles. I just wanted to know what you think about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. More recently, you're seeing lots of sort of short fictional characters being portrayed by average-sized actors who have been shrunk digitally. I mean, at first I kind of excused it by thinking, well, there's not really the pool of talent to draw from to cast, you know, all the characters in Lord of the Rings, for example. So I kind of excused that for happening, but you know, recently they're doing it more and more, and I just think it looks pretty scary almost. It's just not a good look, and it is a shame because there's a lot of very talented short actors in the world who are not getting a chance to do what they do. Some of them have trained for years to do this, and they're just not getting a look in. You know, it'd be wrong to cast somebody as a disabled person in a wheelchair with a kind of able-bodied actor, I think. But they do it with short people all the time. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, I'm not actively kind of campaigning, but you know, it'd be nice if my voice was heard on these issues.
That was a good question. We got next one, right there in the center, so just crawl over these people and get to that guy.
You guys get crawled over. Please stand.
How was it like to interact with Carrie Fisher throughout the years?
I was good. Carrie, she was so lovely. If any of you have seen my work on Celebration, interviewing Carrie, I mean, you'll know how lovely she was. I loved her, but I didn't love her dog. Carrie was always attacking me. He didn't trust me at all. Yeah, we'd reenact scenes from the film, particularly where we hid behind the log, the stormtrooper, and Carrie would get involved. But yeah, Carrie was lovely to me. She, on the film, became very close. She worried about me in the Ewok costume getting hot. So I was 11 back then, you know, all the hormones were starting to emerge. So I thought, oh, this lady's taking interest in me. And if I took the head off, I'd be really, really hot. And then she'd say, would you like some milk and cookies? I'd say, yeah, thank you. Now I'd be all revived. Next time I took the head off, I'd act even hotter. More milk and cookies. I was sick of milk and cookies by the end of this. I've had my fill, but no, Carrie was really, really lovely. Good friend, yeah.
Coming down front.
You are such a profound talent, and so you have the best sense of humor ever. Have you ever played So I'm just curious, have you ever played practical jokes on people on set?
Yeah,
on
he
set?
had. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
And if so, share one with us if you don't mind.
Let me think whether I've ever done anything. I've been around when practical jokes have happened. One of them was on Harry Potter, and I believe the segment is on one of the DVDs. So I don't know how to refer to this. There's an electronic device that simulates the sound of a fart. Basically. You press a button on the transmitter, and the receiver makes a fart noise. And it's very, very hilarious. So we had one of these, and it was all the kids are laid on the floor of the Great Hall, sleeping in the Great Hall because there's a troll about. So everyone's in there to be safe. So there's a scene where Alan Rickman walks in, Michael Gambon walks in, and I walk into this situation. And they gave Gambon the button, the transmitter, and they put the receiver, the speaker that makes the fart sound, under Daniel's bag, which he had his head on to dash down the road. So he's sleeping on this bag, and then, so at the point during the scene, Gambon presses the button, so a fart sound emanates and echoes around the Great Hall. And then, so starting with Daniel, we start to see him quiver, and then the laughter gradually spreads throughout the rest of the kids laying on the floor, and then up to the adults who should know better as well. So yeah, that was a fun little moment. Really fun. Thank you.
Great question. Long water or yet? Who got raise your hand, please.
You have a question for Mr. Davis?
Sure.
Right ahead.
There's the story of you submitting a list of toys that you'd like to have when you started filming for Jedi.
Yeah.
I think Mark asked you.
Yeah, Mark Hamill asked me. He said, Warwick, do you collect the toys? I said, yeah. And he said, well, list what you haven't got and I'll see what I can do. And so I wrote out 3 letter-sized sheets of paper, including the Millennium Falcon and the Darth Vader figure carrying case, all the figures. And a couple of days later, he came in with the boxes from Kenner, which had all these figures in, the Millennium Falcon, the Darth Vader carrying case, and I've still kept the collection to this day. There is a photo on the internet of me with all these toys, which is lovely. So yeah, one thing I'll never forget, and I see the collection now, I'm like, wow. It's extra special, the fact that Mark got these for me all these years ago. Of course, they're not on their cards. I've lost all the capes. I've lost the kind of lightsabers that popped out their arms. They've all fallen out, but they're well played with toys.
You were at the best convention in the world to replenish that stuff. I don't know what you floor off. They've got everything in there.
Oh, they've got it all. It's lovely, yeah. And someone from Canada was here the other day.
Yeah, we got someone here in the front.
Right.
Stand. So, working with Dame Maggie Smith, can you tell a funny story with her and what it was like working with her?
Well, the one time I remember, I spent a lot of time with Maggie, mostly at the Great Hall head table. We were all warm and comfortable. It was very nice. One particular time, we were out in the courtyard. I think it was for Deathly Hallows Part 2. So we're all waiting for Voldemort to come around the corner. Hagrid's carrying a kind of unconscious Harry, and he comes, ha ha ha, he's dead! Does all of this. Multiple takes, again and again. So I'm standing there in the rain with Maggie. She's like under her breath moaning, oh, when's he going to get it right? Ray Fiennes kind of thing. I'm thinking, well, that's a great actor. Well, you're a great actress as well, so you shouldn't get away with that sort of thing. But no, she was lovely, and I remember Daniel caring about Maggie as well. He'd run over with an umbrella between takes and hold it there for her, even though he was, the star of the movie. That was lovely. Yeah, she's a lovely lady.
Sorry, Longmore, you got somebody else?
Let's see, we got some questions right over here. I'm coming. We got a young man right here. Please stand. That's Mr. Davis, your question.
Have you ever gotten hurt while you were trying to film something?
Have I been hurt ever? Well, they try not to hurt you because most things I've been in, I've been one of the lead actors. So when I was younger, at 11, I always wanted to do my own stunts. So they had to kind of stop me. They no, Warwick, it's too dangerous, we'll get someone else. But as you get older, when you get to my age now, 21, you're a little more wary about hurting yourself. So I tend to kind of step back when it comes to action sequences. And my son Harrison is exactly the same height as me. He looks quite similar, so when we did the Willow series, he was my stunt double and stand-in. And so anytime we need to do some action, I was going to push Harrison. Go on. He actually told me a funny story, because being my stand-in as well and double, he'd have to get there earlier than me, so they call him at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'd rock up at 9 o'clock. He'd be exhausted. And he used to say, "Oh great, there goes the limelight." As soon as I walked on set. But he'd been enjoying everyone giving him attention. But no, it's good, I bred my own stunt double.
Full circle in your Ewok career, what was it like to have him for the Rise of Skywalker to be with you in that scene?
I thought it was a lovely idea. And so JJ came to me, he said, we're thinking of putting Wicket in this, but also now he's got a son called Pommet Warwick. So we need 2 Ewoks, and we're thinking maybe your son Harrison could play him. Pommet Warwick. So Warwick's the surname. Right. Wicket W. Warwick is Wicket's full name.
Sure.
So his son will be Pommet Warwick. Yeah.
Pommet, what is it?
Pommet. That's a name.
I understood that. Did it come up with? Did they have a meeting? Or?
No, it's just the name Pommet. Like Wicket just means nothing. It's just Wicket.
I'm going to go to sleep tonight, just like shivering. Poor Davis. You got time for a couple more? This is great. This has been one of the best panels I've ever.
I was going to say something better then. Even I've not finished the story. Just wait a second. And I don't know what it was.
Talking about your son became this character called
Pommet Warwick,
and that's where you were.
I think that was the end of it. There was going to be more, but it will come to me. Come on, man, I'm 21, I forget stuff.
I'm 21 too, so, you know.
Let me just tell you, we're going to go back to Hogwarts for a second, because it relates to Harrison this. So, Harrison was also a goblin in Deathly Hallows Part 2. There's a scene where you see Gringotts again, and he establishes the bank, and across are going 2 little goblins. One was my daughter Annabelle, the other was Harrison. So they had slip-on masks, they didn't have prosthetics. The shoes were massive. Harrison wore his own shoes inside the goblin shoes because they were so long. And so we did 3 or 4 takes, walking across, and that day, fortunately, I was under the invisibility cloak, so I didn't have to have the makeup on. So I was sort of supervising Harrison. And he'd done a few takes, said, "Dad, I'm not doing it anymore, I'm tired." He was 6 then. I said, "You've got to do another couple, they haven't got it right." He said, "I have got it right." He said, "I'm tired and I want something to eat." I said, "I'll get you something to eat." So I went to the craft service, which is a table with food and goodies, and I got him a banana. I said to the producer, I said, "Harrison's got to eat this banana, he won't do it anymore." So the producer took Harrison, plonked him on his own kind of producer's chair, and Harrison sat there and proceeded to eat a banana. Now, I've never seen anyone eat a banana so slowly. So I've got the producer standing there looking at his watch. What's $10,000 a minute? This banana's going down very slowly. So that was the most expensive banana ever consumed. And then Harrison carried on and got the tape, refueled with potassium.
That's good. What do you got? Got a question here up front.
I've changed my mind about my question.
Oh, she changed her mind.
I have, yeah. Mad Mardigan.
Yeah.
You yelled at him for giving Laura Dannon beetroot.
Blackroot.
Blackroot, thank you. Can you? So you remember the line? Can you do the line again?
Oh my gosh, you want me to act? But I'm not being paid. And Mardigan, you never ever give a baby blackroot. Something like that, wasn't it? And that blackroot was vanilla. No raw vanilla, it's like a stick. That's what those were, bits of vanilla.
And she didn't want you. She definitely doesn't need hair on her.
Oh, that's the rest of the line. Thanks for reminding me in a very subtle way. She's the future Empress of Tirasleen, and the last thing she's going to want is a hairy chest. Yeah. Ooh, oh, holla, holla. Oop, oop.
We haven't got a lot of those in a
while. I was a little bit sarcastic.
Do we have any more questions from the audience? Way over here, there. I'm going right back here.
What do you think about the amusement park rides at Universal, Hogwarts, and Star Wars rides? Did you do any work on them?
Did you do it again? Did you see? Notice how the better host doesn't have a problem with this microphone. Give me this. I'll try with you. Don't worry, I didn't slobber on this one.
I'm using my words now, like slobber.
Slobber.
Slobber. So what was the question? It was something about in rides.
God,
So there's a
long
ride
water,
at
what did I
Universal
say?
Kevin turned the microphone off.
to do with Gringotts. I don't know what it's called. Go to Gringotts ride. Let's call it that. What's it called? Escape from Gringotts. Don't go there. Escape from it. So there was a funny story about the opening of this. So they invite all the actors. Helena Bonham Carter and her husband Tim Burton were there. So I rode with them on the first ride of Escape from Gringotts. So we're all on this ride. It's very sophisticated, loads of safety features. They've been having some problems, but they had it going for us. So on we all get. We start riding around, it's all amazing. And then there's a point in the ride, spoiler alert, where it kind of goes down a big drop into a hole. And we were halfway down that drop and it just stopped. So we're all hanging kind of on a vertical like that, stopped. And they came over to speak and said, we have a problem, the safety's kicked in. Just stay where you are. Well, we're not even getting out, are we? You know, we're hanging vertically. So eventually Tim Burton gets so bored he starts to climb out of the carriage. So everyone at Universal's like going nuts trying to say, no, stay there. So I sat there and waited patiently. And eventually we got it going and finished the ride, but it was a bit embarrassing for Universal. But it's all working now if you want to go, it's fab. It's great. And I'm in the ride as well, you see Grip Hook as a silhouette. And I think you see us in the, what is that, Thief's Downfall waterfall sequence is in there. Yeah, it's really fun. As an actor, to become part of a theme park ride is cool as well. It's really cool. Almost as cool as becoming a Lego minifigure. And I'm about 7 or 8 minifigures now, which is great. I think I hold the record as the actor with the most minifigures. Oh yeah.
We have time for one more question. We got it right here in the front row.
It's got to be a good question. If it's no good, I'm not going to answer.
What would be your dream role to play and why?
Oh, there you go.
And that's not too bad, is it? I was expecting a mic drop then and me leaving.
We got 25 seconds left, so.
25. My favourite role and why?
No, your favorite role.
Dream.
Ideal role. Your
Dream role. For me would be playing a detective of some sort. I love Columbo, so to be a kind of Peter Falk sort of detective would be fab. Some sort of detective, maybe 1920s, 1950s. 1950s, let's have some machine guns, some cars, that kind of stuff. I don't know, something cool, nice hats.
This is going out on YouTube.
Is
So
it?
maybe some director will hear it somewhere and they'll make a Columbo series and you can.
Well, you really think someone important's going to watch this?
I know that they will. Just one more thing. Just one more thing. Can you say that?
Very good. Just one more thing. No, twang, but
I want to thank you for being here and joining us for this panel. You're going to be here for the rest of the weekend signing.
I sure will. I'm in my little room down the end where no one can find me.
So you guys used by you, or is it just me?
No, it'll be just you when you come.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to remember this panel for the rest of my life.
Well, you-
Mostly for traumatic reasons.
Good luck with the therapy. Thank you.
Thanks so much.